I'm starting to believe I'm psychic after calling Tom Girardi and Erika Jayne's divorce and then this. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Dorit Kemsley and Paul P.K. Kemsley have called it quits after 8 years of marriage. In Touch can exclusively confirm. Just came out. Now, before we get into the recap, let me just say this. I'm going to be doing a tea dump each week on season 13. I will start each show with a bunch of gossip that I'm going to dump about what happened, and then I'm going to get into the recap for the second half, so you can decide if you want to stay for the whole thing or just the beginning or just the end, okay? Up to you. Now, let me just tell you something. There is no way that Kyle did not see some of the flirtation happening between Dorit and Mauricio. And I'm not saying that's why Kyle and Mauricio broke up at all, but I'm definitely saying it didn't help. And no, again, I did not make this. If Dorito and Elsa Jane made a baby, it could be Emma Slater. Clearly, he has a type. Okay, so she's got to be seeing some of this and feeling some way about it. She's not a dummy. And I'll tell you what, I can tell just from watching the episode tonight that Kyle Richards believes he cheated on her. Whether she says that publicly or not, 100%. Now, why do I say that? Because of the fact that Mauricio has not been home. He's been traveling constantly. I would say they haven't been having that much sex. That would definitely set Kyle off. If Mauricio is away a lot and is dying to get home to her and connect, no problem. But if Mauricio's away a lot and he isn't coming home and rushing to connect with her intimately, that's where this goes to shit in a handbasket, because I know Kyle knows that that's not a good sign with him. So she's working out like crazy. She quits alcohol, all things that Kyle can use to get control again, because her life is, everything she loves is sort of falling apart. So Kyle puts herself in her project with Morgan Wade, starts working out like crazy, losing weight, not drinking, all ways to get control back. And I'm glad. All positive ways of getting control back. And I'm proud of her for sticking up for herself on camera, not just in confessionals. She's great at those underhanded confessionals, but let's see her do it on camera to the people's faces now. That's the real rite of passage for Kyle. I've been asked a million times if I think Kyle's having a relationship with Morgan Wade. I've always said no. I've been asked a million times if I think that this was done for ratings, this whole breakup thing between her and Mauricio. And I said exactly what she said on Watch What Happens Live tonight, that she would never do it to her family. All of that is true. I believe it 100%. I can even send you a DM from Monday of me saying this to somebody. It's not Kyle's nature. Teddi went on Watch What Happens Live with Kyle Richards tonight. She was not boring. Congratulations, Teddi. One thing I will say is I appreciated her dropping the fact that Sutton Stracke has been walking around with vodka in her purse. Did you see Andy Cohen's face? He almost died. He did not want that said on the show. Teddi ambushed Daddy. Yay, Teddi. Good for you. Good for you, girl. Kyle's face, too, I saw. She was like this, looking at Teddi, oh my God, you didn't just say that. But she did. And for whatever reason, they couldn't cut it out, or they didn't. And I just want you guys to know that somewhere Erika Jayne and Lisa Rinna were jumping up and down, screaming woohoo at the TV screen when Teddi said that. Really quickly, I want to throw this in. This was a picture Bethany Frankel posted to try to make everyone believe that this was about the Vanity Fair article coming out next week, or potentially this was, them all getting together to sue Bravo in her reality reckoning. But in actuality, a friend of mine told me that Larsa had leaked on her podcast that this was actually a dinner that was put on by iHeartRadio with some of the talent that I guess they're going to be doing podcasts with, or are doing podcasts with. And there were a bunch of people, that were sponsoring the event. she was a guest only. It wasn't her event. And her post was, I think, intentionally designed to make everybody think that she was doing something that she wasn't really doing. And the girl who sent that to me and straightened me out, I trust profusely because she works in reality TV. Now, one of the topics that comes up in tonight's episode that is, going to get everybody going is that, oh my gosh, Dorit and PK may not make it through because PK has been spending so much time in London and Dorit doesn't feel protected. But let me tell you something. Miss Chanel, Dorit, may be getting sick and tired of being with PK, who keeps finding himself or continuing to be in financial troubles, which she can't seem to separate herself from. Okay, so I'm going to read you something that came out in the Sun about 6 hours ago. All right, and I want to call out something important in this. Okay, it says Dorit 47 and PK Kemsley's money troubles continue as the couple still has unpaid taxes owed to the state of California and the IRS. This comes after PK paid off his $2.27 million debt to Bellagio in January of 2022. How exhausting. According to court documents obtained by the U.S. Sun, Dorit also paid off $635,887 in IRS tax liens that was from her and PK's 2015 taxes. So Dorit paid that using almost all of her income, I would imagine, from commercials and Bravo show. A certificate of release of her federal lien was filed on March 16, 2023, clearing her and only her of her debt despite PK being mentioned in the filing. However, she has yet to pay off the debt for her 2017 and 2018 taxes. A tax lien that was filed in June of 2021 shows that she has an outstanding balance of $90,269 due to the IRS. This is a minuscule amount compared to what her husband has not paid. According to court documents obtained by the U.S. Sun, the English businessman owes a combined total of $986,887 in taxes. He still owes $230,965 from his 2014 taxes and $58,000 from his 2016 taxes to the IRS, all of which he can't get rid of. Can't bankrupt nothing, not on IRS debt. In addition, he owes $293,222 from his 2014 and 2015 taxes and $404,242 from his 2016 taxes to the state of California. That's federal and state taxes. So Miss Chanel here is going to be saying to herself, how the hell am I going to get out of this situation? This guy is like a sinking ship. I'm young. I want to stay on the show. He can't support my lifestyle. Hell, he may not even be able to stay in the U.S. much longer if he doesn't get his act together. Meanwhile, PK is building his life back in the U.K. again to try to reestablish himself in some new way. Obviously trying to move out of the U.S. now. Let's face it, that seems to be a pattern. He blew up in the U.K., he came to the U.S. He's blowing up in the U.S. potentially. He's going back to the U.K. Maybe this is his MO, I don't know. But Dorit may not want to go back to the UK. So they're at some sort of other crossroads besides her PTSD. And then notice tonight on the episode, Dorit says, he's gone to London all the time. He's never here. He didn't protect me. Right. So what's he doing in London for long periods of time? Ask Kyle, Dorit. And I'd say from the way that Kyle acted at the Indian ceremony that we witnessed tonight in Malibu, California, and what she said about her castmates, I don't think Kyle trusts anyone in that group, including Dorit, anymore. And so she's just acting now in these friendships, really, truly. Because I know for a fact, Sutton going to Kathy Hilton's parties, which I said was the main reason Sutton was up Kathy's ass, is absolutely a reason that Kyle would not want to stay friends with Sutton over it. She wouldn't. it's like a betrayal. You're prioritizing your social life over, our friendship. And Sutton's getting a little big for her bridges too now. Now, before you guys jump up and down and say, hey, Dana, didn't you see that in episode 1, Kyle's wearing Mauricio's sweatshirt, the agency, and sort of promoting it while they have that awful talk about the fact that he doesn't know she has 5 tattoos. And she's like, I have 5 tattoos. And he thinks she only has 3 because he hasn't, obviously. The read between the lines is they haven't been connecting at all physically. Before you bring that to my attention, remember that the finances of Kyle and Mauricio right now are still benefiting the two of them. And it's a 50-50 state in California. So they don't want either of their finances to go wrong. Okay? So they're going to be protecting each other's brands because before, when the divorce comes, maybe after that, it'll change. But for now, they both benefit equally, and the family benefits equally by the brands doing well. Don't jeopardize that. And the fact that Mauricio dedicated his dance tonight on Dancing with the Stars to Kyle Richards. Ew, Mauricio, what the hell has happened to you? You were such a down-to-earth, family-first guy. And you are now so inflated your ego. You are prioritizing your fame and your shows and your dancing. I mean, what? Over core family values? Boy, you've really lost your way. And very messy the way you let the Paps capture you at Matsuhisa. Messy. Now let's talk about Erika Jayne Girardi saying in the episode that she lost all the weight from taking some sort of hormone medicine. Now I suppose something like that could exist during menopause or post-menopause, but I sure as hell haven't heard of it. The only thing that I've heard of is semaglutide, or one of the brand name versions of semaglutide, which is what everybody in LA pretty much was losing weight on. So now, what the hell Erika is talking about with this hormones. If you guys know these magical hormones that Erika took, please enlighten us. Please, I have a beauty channel. It's called Over 40 Beauty Tricks. Let me know. I will start taking the hormones just to try it out for you guys. All right, now the recap. So we start out with Eagle Woman and Blue Raven. Dorit has decided to do a spiritual retreat for the women to come together after the reunion and try to heal from the awful things that have transpired in the last season. We learn during this beginning intro of her inviting everybody to this Indian retreat in Malibu where they're going to go on a vision quest that Lisa Rinna has written an email in 2022 to NBC saying she's quitting. This is definitely going to confuse some people because a lot of people thought she was fired. Well, turns out it's both. Lisa Rinna quit initially, and then later Andy said, I think it's a good idea. And then when Lisa maybe questioned her decision and might have wanted to come back on the show after she quit, Andy said, nah, I'm all right with you staying, quit. The women all end up going to this first event, except the new girl. And they go up in Malibu in this beautifully decorated retreat, and they sit down and they're taken on a vision quest. And Blue Raven and Eagle Woman chant and sing with them and all this stuff. And at some point they start to come clean with what they're upset with each other about. Dorit starts and calls out that Erika Jayne went out in BravoCon and said that her and PK's relationship was the most at risk, okay, which happened, which I thought was really interesting considering how much slack I got for saying it like a year ago. So anyway, she gets pissed at Erika, and Erika's like, I couldn't help it. I tried not to answer. I sort of was forced to, and then I told the truth, but I'm sorry I hurt you. And then Dorit was like, you loved it. You relished it. You couldn't wait to say it. You're a liar. But then they give some sort of BS will make up thing happening, and they're sort of not totally corrected, but they're like open to continuing the friendship. Meanwhile, Kyle Richards says, like, I haven't really been that happy with any of you girls after the reunion. I've sort of kept my distance, including Dorit. And I just don't know how I feel. I feel like a lot of you guys betrayed me with my sister, Kathy Hilton, and no one really had my back. But then Garcelle's like, but we didn't understand why you didn't have your sister's back on a TV show. And she was like, I didn't have my sister's back on a TV show because my sister only calls me to rant, doesn't really stand for me ever, is sort of a self-centered person who I've always had to be subservient to. And I resent my sister, my older sister, it turns out. And I don't want to stand up for her anymore. I'm sick of her shit. Especially considering what I found out she said about my family and all of you. And what she says, which really surprised me, and I can tell you right now, Kathy Hilton is dying tonight after seeing the show, is that Kathy Hilton wanted to come for her family. She says it plain as day. Kathy wanted to come for my family, hurt my family, really want to hurt it. So Kyle believes it's true. I'm going to tell you, anything we see in the future of this show where they pretend to make amends on TV is bullshit. Then we jump to Sutton having a lunch in her store with Jennifer Tilly. And we see some little snapshots of Sutton Stracke. She's buying a horse. She says the horse connected with her through the internet, through the horse's eyes. She's half Texas. She's got to buy a horse so she can feel the connection, I guess, to horses. Anyway, we see her with Jennifer Tilly, and there's like I think a scene that's meant to be funny of her mistreating her assistant, Allie. She, I guess, undervalues him, and that's like a funny joke. And she says, like, where's the salad dressing? And Jennifer's like, look, he only has 2 hands. And Sutton's like, I want my salad dressing. And it's sort of like kind of a joke that I guess she mistreats her assistant. It was weird to me. Jennifer Tilly and her have a close friendship. We get a glimpse into the funnier aspects of it. Like, she says that she accidentally put one of Jennifer Tilly's like candies in her ear because she thought it was like an earplug when they were flying to Paris together or something. And we get the feel that Jennifer Tilly and Sutton are, good friends that go to the fashion things together and so on. And then Jennifer says she's really proud of Sutton because her store has been in business for 4 years. Sutton says the importance of being an independent woman and building a career where she doesn't always have to rely on the $300,000 a month alimony that she's receiving from her ex-husband. She wants to show him that she can do it on her own. Good effing luck, lady, with a $300,000 alimony. I mean, really. But then she reminds us that that $300,000 a month alimony was half made by her since she was his wife and she gave up everything for his career. And to that I say that's true. Maybe not $300,000 a month worth, but I get you. Now, the women have been trying to call out Sutton's drinking problem for a long time on the show, and the producers don't let it happen. However, I'd say after Teddy Mellencamp's leaked it on Watch What Happens Live, and for some reason they left it in, I'd say it's going to appear soon on the show. Maybe not this season, but next. So then we bump into Dorit and Kyle having pizza on Hermes plates, and they're discussing their relationships with their men. And Dorit is saying that her relationship with PK isn't that good because he's been in London so much and she doesn't feel safe, as I mentioned. Kyle is like, things aren't that great. She kind of implies with Mauricio either, and we sort of see that bonding moment between the two women. We also see a scene, as I mentioned, where Mauricio calls out that he does not want Kyle Richards to get any more tattoos and doesn't know how many tattoos she has. And to that, Kyle Richards like, no, Mauricio, it's my body. I'll put a tattoo on it if I want to. Now we understand why she put Morgan Wade's name on her body as a tattoo, although they didn't show that on the show, to be like, F you, Mauricio. Passive aggressive Kyle for sure. But the bottom line is that, Mauricio's dropping the ball in the relationship. He's not giving her the time of day. She's had enough and she doesn't want to be a pushover anymore. That's what I really sense. Kyle's like tired of being a pushover because she is kind of. I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but on the show, to your face, she's super nice. Then behind your back, she says the worst stuff. And so it's like passive aggressive. Like she needs to own it. She needs to be like, I hate you. I want a tattoo. Not do it secretly in a confessional video. You know what I mean? So I'm glad. Like maybe she'll be real. So then we see Erika Jayne Girardi with her Dr. Mann. She's saying that, she doesn't know how to have empathy. So she's sort of owning that she's a narcissist and is like broken emotionally and doesn't know how to feel for people. She also is discussing whether or not she's going to mourn Tom Girardi's death. Like, I guess to him, he's going to die any minute. So she's like, am I going to be sad? And the doctor's like, probably. And then the doctor was like, you can't mix drugs and alcohol anymore. And she's like, oh, I'm not taking Lexapro. So we learned that. And so in other words, this scene is designed to take all of the bad things that Erika Jayne Girardi did last season and wipe them away. Crystal doesn't show up much in this. She doesn't say much. Garcelle, we see her with her sons, and she's basically talking to them about how she is as a mother. One of the sons says, you didn't parent me enough 2 years ago, and so why are you trying to parent me so hard now? It's too late. Garcelle feels disappointed that maybe she let her son down because she had to work so hard back then and like wasn't able to give him what he needed. And now she might have missed the opportunity because he's sort of like, I grew myself up. And then the other son doesn't really care about the conversation because he's in love, which is so cute and so real. By the way, Garcelle's son, Oliver's ex-wife, I think they're exes now, she went on social media today and posted a hot picture of herself, like with some music, like I'm going out, I'm hot, I'm all that. I was like, that's awesome. All in all, it started the season with a bang. I think it's going to be a great Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season. I have to compliment Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live tonight. He did a great job with Kyle and Teddy was not boring. Congratulations, Teddy. I'll be doing these each week. Send me gossip so I can include it. If you want to chat with me, I have that feature now on the Patreon, and I'm just on it all day, pretty much hanging out on chat. In between stuff, I just keep checking and chatting. So, and we can share gossip on there much easier than we used to because they just added this new feature. So it's really fun. All right, you guys, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And remember, my videos don't always notice everybody. I don't know why. I don't know if I'm like suppressed or something, but yeah, a few people have been like, God, I just don't get notifications for videos. I'm like, I don't know. Mysterious. Can I tell you?